Most Excellent Professor Dr. Marcelo Rebelo de Souza, President of the Portuguese Republic. I'm grateful to Your Excellency and to the Government of Portugal, represented by the Minister of State and Foreign Affairs, for your hospitality and for hosting this global forum of the Alliance of Civilizations. It would be remiss of me if I didn't also commend you on the decision to convene this forum in my country and in the beautiful municipality of Cascais. Portugal is a country that knows all too well the value of rapprochement and understanding between different cultures, civilizations, and traditions. I welcome the presence of His Majesty, King Felipe VI of Spain, and the sign of his commitment to the Alliance of Civilizations that his presence represents. Following the devastating floods that lashed the region of Valencia, I wish to convey to His Majesty on behalf of the United Nations and on my own behalf, and I'm sure I do so also on behalf of everyone present here today, our deep solidarity with the people of Spain and more specifically with the victims of this tragedy. I'm also pleased to have with us His Excellency the President of the Republic of Cabo Verde, Dr. José Maria Neves. With its history, identity, culture, and diaspora, Cabo Verde has a very critical contribution to make to our discussions and objectives around which we meet today. I also thank the governments of Spain and Turkey and to the group of friends of the Alliance for their unstinting support and commitment. And I also thank the High Representative Miguel Moratinos for leading this initiative. On this occasion, I wish to pay homage to the memory of Jorge Sampaio, a friend, a statesman, a builder of bridges, and a champion of social justice. The commemoration of the 20th anniversary of the Alliance and the Forum today are also a tribute to the legacy that Jorge Sampaio left us from his tireless work as the first High Representative of the Alliance of Civilizations. I welcome all states represented here today. But above and beyond the presence of representatives and policy makers, I also recognize the participation of members of civil society, of youth groups, of religious leaders, and various other actors. Your dedication, commitment, and collaboration are crucial. Excellencies, my dear friends, we are living in difficult times. Unfortunately, in many places across the world, the social fabric is under intense pressure. We see shameless strategies seeking to sow divisions and deepening existing divides. We are witnessing a wave of xenophobia, racism, and intolerance, with social media being used as a powerful weapon. And these tensions are increasing on several fronts. Human rights are under attack. The climate crisis continues to worsen, and sectarianisms of all types are proliferating. Conflicts and wars stoke and exacerbate each of these threats I just mentioned. In such a scenario, we need peace. More than anything else, we need peace. Peace in Ukraine, a just peace in accordance with United Nations Charter, with international law, and with the resolutions of the General Assembly. Peace in Gaza, through an immediate ceasefire, the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages, and the effective and unfettered delivery of humanitarian aid, and the beginning of an irreversible process towards a two-state solution. Peace in Lebanon, with an immediate cessation of hostilities and the full implementation of Security Council resolutions. Peace in Sudan, with all parties laying down their weapons and embarking on a path towards lasting peace. Regardless of where we may be, the United Nations Charter must be upheld, as must be international law, including the principles of sovereignty, territorial integrity, and the political independence of all states.
Excellencies, the absence of peace is leading to an erosion of trust in the multilateral system, in societies, and in one another. Rebuilding trust is our essential task, and this makes the work of the Alliance of Civilizations more important than ever. I see four crucial areas where we must expand our efforts: in communities, online, across cultures and institutions. First, we need to build communities of trust and belonging. These are the foundation of more peaceful, just and resilient societies based on human rights and dignity for all. Building trust and cohesion cannot be done by governments and institutions alone. We need voices and actions across all levels, including grassroots organizations, marginalized communities, local authorities, and religious groups. The role of religious leaders is especially crucial. We need meaningful participation of women in decision-making, including in leadership positions. And we need to spotlight the vital voices of young people. I commend you for pioneering initiatives on strengthening the role of women as peacemakers. And I welcome the many alumni of your youth programs here today, including from the Youth Solidarity Fund and the Intercultural Innovation Hub. Second, we must rein in hate speech and disinformation spreading online. Hate-filled frenzies are perpetuating stereotypes and misconceptions. Misinformation and outright lies are fueling repulsive anti-Semitism, anti-Muslim bigotry, and attacks on minority Christian communities, among others. These are old tactics with a new medium. Unchecked digital platforms and artificial intelligence have endowed hate speech with a speed and reach unseen before. The worst impulses of humanity are given a megaphone, and many times they lead to violence. With the proliferation of deep fakes, the impossible and the unverified become credible in an instant. But we do have constructive ways to address these and other challenges. For example, through the United Nations Global Principles for Information Integrity, which have put forward recommendations for a more humane information ecosystem. Countries also adopted a major new initiative, the Global Digital Compact, which is aimed at fostering a safe and secure digital space that respects and protects human rights. And I also welcome the Alliance's Plural Plus, joint initiative with the International Organization for Migration. Through the initiative, young media and filmmakers explore the topic of migration and social inclusion and provide the counter-narrative to the negative portrayal of migrants and refugees. But the buck does not stop with these efforts. Big tech companies, advertisers, and media outlets must take responsibility for their role. The Global Digital Compact also emphasizes the importance of supporting cultural diversity in the digital space. And that leads me to the third area, working harder to fully embrace the role of culture and cultural diversity to advance all our goals. Societies today are multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and multicultural. And this diversity is a richness and our greatest strength, not a threat. Respecting and representing all cultures builds trust in society. And at the time of spreading hatred and intolerance, we must not only defend diversity, but we must invest in it. Harnessed effectively, cultural diversity can be a powerhouse of ideas and innovation. Fourth, rebuilding trust calls for institutions that are more representative. More representative institutions mean more effective institutions. Yet today, multilateral peace and security tools and the global financial architecture are products of a bygone era. The Security Council is outdated and frequently paralyzed. Meanwhile, the international financial architecture does not reflect today's economy and has become inadequate and unfair. We need to keep working to strengthen global governance, and that is precisely the central tenet of the Pact of the Future adopted by consensus at the United Nations in September. And it calls for decisive steps towards updating and reforming international cooperation to make it more networked, more fair and inclusive. And the Pact also reinforces the call of the Alliance for inclusive, just societies rooted in human rights, respect for religious communities and intercultural dialogue. Excellencies and friends, in these turbulent times, too many people are convinced that differences must define us. But the most powerful force of all is the recognition that we are more united by our common fate than divided by our distinct identities. And that is the essence of the United Nations and the raison d'être of the Alliance of Civilizations. Let's stand together with our shared faith in humanity. One planet, one human family, rich in diversity, equal in dignity and rights, and united in solidarity. I thank all of you for your leadership and your commitment.